All right. All right. So welcome back. This is day seven of the practical session. And today we are going to be looking at the CMS parts, the blog section and all of that. But before we dive into that, I would like to know from Tony Daniels, Akinsoji, Cynthia, I would like to see progress. So I'll start with Akin. Akin, maybe you would want to show us updates of what you've done so far, where you are at, and all of that. Because from the last, if you follow the last class, I made mention of the parts that you guys should be up to, like at least design up to that level just before the blog section. So I don't know if it's something that we have done. Akin Soji, what's up? Let's hear from you and see.
Okay. Yes, you said so, but I'm close, but I've not gotten there. But let me share my screen.
Yeah, you
Let
can
me-
just share your screen and let's see how far you've gone. All right, cool. Start from
Okay.
go to
So
the top. Okay.
this is. What did you say?
I said go back to the top. Like take it slow.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I did not just.
You can publish it. Publish it. Let's look for the published. Yeah.
Okay.
Click on
Sorry,
the.
well,
Yeah, just click there.
this call to
Yeah.
action, right?
Yeah. Click the blue button. So you've not published before at all. So this is your first publish. So click on that arrow. There's an arrow there.
Sorry,
Click on that arrow there. That arrow.
this one.
Yes, so it opens in the published link.
Okay, right.
So you need to share your entire screen, so we'd also see the published link or publish. We are not seeing the published link on our screen. So
Oh, you're not saying the published.
yeah, the screen is just the Webflow screen.
Wow.
Yeah, so you want to share that part of your screen too as well.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, share that part of your screen so we'll get to see. Okay, good.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, we can.
All right.
All right, so yeah, this is good. But first, wait, go back up. The image is too close to the. So you might want to reduce the image a bit. The image is too big.
Okay.
Yeah, the image is too big. And how you can do that, like I explained earlier, how you can do that, if you click on the bottom right,
Yes.
bottom right, you can see a node. Then you can just drag and reduce the
Okay.
image. So that's how you reduce the image. So you should have enough space between the button and the image. So yeah, you can do that. So scroll.
Okay.
So I don't know this part, you can make this part animated, the logo, let it be like a sliding, like movement logo you get.
Right.
Yeah, okay, keep scrolling. So this part, you've not gotten to the animation part, yeah?
I have not taught the animation at all. I've not taught the
Okay.
animation.
Okay, no problem. So we discussed that from last class, so you can watch it and be up to date. Okay, keep going.
All right.
Like this is it, yeah? That's all you've done so far.
Yeah, that's all I've done so.
Okay, so far it's not looking bad. It's not looking bad, but you just have to be up to speed,
Right.
to the point that we're going to, get to today. Sure. Nice one. Nice one. So let's hear from Tony Daniels. Tony Alpha, what do you have for us?
Okay. Let me just share what I have.
Yeah, you should. Let's see what you have.
This is what I have. We're struggling with the hero section.
Okay.
We're a bit behind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at my designer, it looks okay on the designer.
Publish it, and let's see the published
Yeah,
link.
this is the published one. Now the published one is, What the problem, the delay I was having with this hero section is that it will look good if it looks good in designer. It will
Mm-hmm.
look bad on the published site. If it looks bad on the published site, it look good in the designer. So I don't understand. Is it that Webflow has bugs or something? I don't get. I
No.
don't. So I don't know.
Okay, so you are on the hero section and it looks, the image looks small on my screen. The image looks small on my screen because I can see lots of space. So what we can do, we can have a look at your own. After everyone has gone, I can have a look at it. You can share with me the read only link,
Okay.
and we can look at it and see how we can correct whatever is wrong with it. All right.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you very
Okay. All right. Femi, how far, Femi? I know say you don't finish everything now. I know say you've done everything. So Femi, you share your screen and let's see what you've done so far.
Okay, 1 second. 1 second. How do I even share again? Where am I? Where am I? Sorry, guys. Sharing entire screen. Okay. Yeah. So you can see my screen. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. This is me.
Okay.
This thing is playing up.
Why is it cut out?
I think what must have happened is I must have possibly copied it to another section and played around without renaming it.
Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah, it is not duplicate.
I think so. I did a few of the sections, but I know there are gaps. I definitely have gaps, especially when it comes to the later sections.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where I stopped really, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just have gaps here and there.
Yeah, little touches here.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then. No problems. So who else? Cynthia Chia. I think you're the next person to go.
Okay.
Yeah, you can share your screen and let's see.
I'm here. Hope I've not missed anything.
No. They are still sharing their screen. So this is Cynthia's presenting her screen. Let's see how far she has gone. Then that's
Okay,
it.
so sorry, my network is like.
Yeah, I know. I know his network. I know his network.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So this is what I've done.
You can publish it. Let's use the publish link to access.
Okay.
Publish. Yeah. You've not published before also. Wow. You know, as you're designing, you should be publishing like this because that is the only way you can test. It's not okay to just be designing on Webflow. You have to also be publishing it so that you can be testing it, how it will look like for real. Because if you publish this site now on actual domain, this is how it's going to look like. So this is very important because sometimes Webflow's preview can be deceitful. Webflow preview will not do justice to how the website will look like. This is the main thing. So as you do a section, publish it, view it on actual link like this. Do you get? Very important.
Most
Okay.
times I just preview it. So I was
No,
thinking
that preview,
something.
it's not. It doesn't work. That preview can be deceitful.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the main thing. So yeah, this is good work. This is really
So
good work.
I had a problem with this place, like trying to space and all of that. So I don't know. Then this is where I've not added a animation because I've not got to that part. Then I
Okay.
had issues with this spacing here after I duplicated.
Okay.
So this is where I've gotten to.
Okay, cool. So what we are going to do now, before Michael starts, we are going to try to sort. This is good. Nice work, Cynthia. It's really good. So
Thank you.
what I would say is I would need you guys to like be up to speed. Not like up to speed. I don't like rush, but just more dedication, more commitment, and just try. This is a single landing page. Normally, a single landing page shouldn't take you more than 1 week. A single landing page should be like, for someone like Michael or myself, maybe few hours or minutes. Few hours or minutes. That's the funny truth. No matter how complex. For me, few hours. If it's too complex or too long, couple of hours. But for you guys, I can understand, say, okay, 1 week, 3 days, because you are watching video and you are implementing and all of that. So you have to really understand what you're doing, because don't just, for someone like me, I don't need to watch any video. Maybe unless I'm trying to implement something new, I'm trying to implement something that I've not done before, then I'll have to watch a video on it, then implement it, which is understandable. So you guys should just, be more up to speed. So Toy Daniels, you can share with me, share here the read-only link so that I can open it and try to look at 1 or 2 things. Try to sort out your hero section, all right? I don't think it's this thing you're supposed to share with me. I'm not sure it's this thing. You're supposed
Sorry,
to,
which one is read only link again?
you would see read-only, share, you see share, top right, top right, you see share. If you click on it,
Okay.
it will pop out one. Just copy the link and share here. That's a read-only.
Right.
What that means, I can edit. Let me share my screen. Whatever it is I'm doing on this read-only link can only be seen by me. You will not see it on your own. So you just have to understand what I'm doing here, then
Alright.
go and make the changes. You understand? So it will open here, but I can't really do anything. I can only do anything. I can do something, but you will not see it live on your own side. So this is what you've done so far, the hero section, okay? So from what I can see here, this is your page wrapper, your main wrapper and section hero, and your padding global, which is good. So far, everything is good. Container large is good. 80 rem. So we now have the hero component, which is good. So this hero component, okay, which is good. We now have, so this is your section hero. Is it 100? Okay, 100 VH. Nice. What else? This one here, hero content, which is the top. Hero content, which is the top. Hero image, which is the bottom one here. And now we have the image. Good. So what now is the problem? So the problem now is this hero image. Maybe you did not watch the video correctly. Maybe. I know we did. I don't know how did we solve the problem for this image to clip down here. I think what we did we go the route of absolutes? What did we really do? Femi, sorry.
Absolute.
Was it absolute we did? I think
Yeah.
we did 2
That
different.
was the first. Yes.
Yeah, we did another one.
I think
The
discussion.
the other one didn't exactly sort us out fully.
No, it did. The second one
did.
said it did. Yeah, I'm very sure it did.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Akesoji, what did you do on your own? Akin, you can
Sorry,
unmute.
can you come again?
What did you do on your hero image to make it clip to the bottom? Then after with Cynthia, you have to speak because I see yours is very nice.
I'm trying to remember. Just give me a minute, please. Let me check it again.
Okay, Cynthia, which approach did you take? Because I know aside from the absolute thing, I know we did another approach too.
So I think the from this other video, remove the spacing on top,
On
the
top-
padding.
Okay, nice one. Well said. So two things. Number one is this section hero is having 100 VH, which is, well, let's just leave it. Now, number two,
And I
this,
think I removed the 100
yes,
viewport.
yes, exactly. So this padding global is having padding section large and, a combo class of padding section large. So what that means is it's adding 8 rem to the top, which is this space here, and 8 rem to the bottom. See this green thing, see this green highlights that is happening. See these green highlights. So that is the 8 rem at the bottom. So number two things, we need to find a way to remove this padding section large. Not like remove it, shall we can rename it to something else. We can say padding section top. That means we want it to just only be at the top. We want to take away this bottom padding section. We don't want it. And you cannot just come here and take it out and say 0. It doesn't make sense. Don't do it like this. What you want to do is you want to come here and rename this padding section. You want to customize it. Not to rename or duplicate it. You see padding section top. Hey, if someone is asking a question or something, who is that? Who is that one? Who is that? Who is raising up his hand? Anyone? Is it a comment? Is it a suggestion? Or add a combo? Okay. Or add a combo class. It's already. Yeah. Let me see. So this is already a combo class. So that was why I said we can. Or Michael, do you have anything to how can you explain what you mean by that?
Yes, so I want to ask something. And now I'm actually asking you a question now.
Mm.
So I know this is a combo class, but is there a limit to amount of combo class that can be added to a project?
Like a third combo class.
Yes.
Nah, there's no
Just
limit.
to
Make
limit
it
it up.
3 combo, 4 combo, 5
Okay.
combo.
That's why I said add the combo class.
Okay,
Just
more
add
another.
remove
Okay.
top. Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now, what he's saying is, let me undo. So I have undo. We have padding section large. So what he's saying is, we can just say remove. For instance, remove bottom ETM. What this means is it's padding section large, having 8 rem, but another third combo class, which is there's no rule to this thing. Sometimes you can tweak it how you want it. You can say, okay, we'll remove bottom. That means we can now remove bottom. So that means our padding section large is still 8 rem up and down. But since we have a third combo class that says remove bottom BTM, so that means 8 rem only at the top, and we don't have anything now at the bottom. That's step one. That is one way. Or you can, let me undo again, or you can just choose to follow, maybe duplicate. If you don't want to have so many combo classes flying around, just duplicate this padding section large to say padding section up. So that means it's only the padding section is only to the top. It's only to the top, and it's not here at the bottom. See, it's only just here to the top. It's not at the bottom. Bottom is now 0. So yeah, so now we have the image well seated at the bottom, but there's an extra space. This extra space is because of this section hero having 100 VH. Let's just take it out. So you see, it's now perfectly aligned. So if we preview, look at what we have. Do you get?
Yes.
Toyin, do you understand?
Yes.
So it's just more of, creative thinking here and there, while doing it the right way. So that is it. So now you have this nice.
It seems easier than that absolute and relative position method.
It's easier like this.
I said this method you just used. I don't know.
So trust me, they are not right or wrong. Just get the job done. Someone might use the absolute way. Do you get? Someone might use this way.
Okay.
There's no one way to. It's not like mathematics. Even in math, someone might use this approach. Just get X. Let your answer just be X. That's just it. So whichever approach you are using, just make sure you are doing the right thing. You are following design principles and all of that. Sure you get, but yeah, that's it. All right. So yeah, that is it about that. So I think I'll stop sharing my screen and you guys should just pay attention. You might, as Michael is doing, you may want to also be doing along as well. You may want to also be doing, because after this whole landing page, you guys are going to do a full case study, a full-blown landing page, like a full landing page with responsiveness. All right, Cynthia, you can ask.
Please, I wanted to ask if it's possible to switch section. Let's say you have, after this hero section, you build the next section, and then you found out that, something was supposed to be there before that section. Can you drag it up?
Like how? Let me give us
let me use Figma as an example. When you have 2 frames and they're in auto layout, you can easily change any of the frames or any of the sections. So is it possible to?
Yeah, you can drag things around now. Look at this hero section, this hero image. If you want it to come first before,
like a whole section, not just.
Yeah, you can do that. You can 100%. You can drag this section anywhere, drag it down, drag it inside. Take it. We can do whatever you want to do with it. It's draggable. You can drag a whole section to another section. You can take the footer section, take it to the hero section. You can do whatever you want to do. Sure you get. So yeah,
yes.
you can do all of that. You can do all of that. And all of that. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. And if you want, you can follow along as Michael is doing and learn the concepts around CMS and database. It's quite straightforward, very helpful. And it is something that I would suggest you grasp. It's a part of web design that you cannot do without database, CMS, content management system. What handles the content, what handles content, which is very important. It's a very important part of web design, database, content, and all of that. So Michael is going to handle that now. From our design, you will see the blog. So that's the blog, because you cannot build the blog in a static way. It has to be dynamic, because imagine that you have 100 blog articles, for instance, and there is no CMS to handle the article. It will be very hard on the designer, because that means he has to build single page for every article. He has to create a page afresh and paste the article, paste the image, he has to build page. So you can imagine the big work. It doesn't even make sense. So this is where CMS come in place to help solve the problem of duplicating content. So CMS is like database that just helps sort out that part, so you don't have to duplicate and waste time. It's just a way to help fasten things like blog and other case study as well. So Michael is going to take it up from here as we roll. And yeah, that's it. So Michael, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Good evening once again, everybody. So, like David has said, there are so many things you can actually achieve with blog. Like, it is unlimited. For instance, let me share my screen. For instance, if you go to some profile, some team section on the website, you will see that we have individual profile for each of the team. Some they use over effects, but some they actually have individual profile for each of their team. Something like that can be achieved with CMS. So what is CMS? CMS is content management system. It is a database that helps to update dynamic content in a way that you don't have to repeat the same thing. So what I mean by dynamic content is you probably have the same layout, but you have different contents. So let's say, for instance, in a team, we have the HR. Of course, the biography of the HR will be different from that of the CEO, the MD, and every other team members we have. So that is actually where CMS comes to play. Now, Webflow CMS is actually, it can be tricky at times, but at the same time, it's fun. Like very, very fun. And you guys should just pay attention and enjoy. So this is can everybody see my screen?
No, yeah, right now, yes, we can now.
All right. Now the CMS button is actually underneath the image, the asset icon. So now if you click on CMS, we're about to start to create a new collection. Now let's study our blog. Although we don't have much on our blog, but then we're going to actually improvise to make things work for us. So if you look at the blog section in the design, we have the image, the title, and the publish date, then with a button that says read. So now, if I click on create new, Webflow is actually going to welcome you with this interface to create a new CMS. Now, like I said, there are a couple of things you can do with Webflow CMS. One is blog posts. We have categories. We have team members, listing. In fact, there's a project I worked on that I used CMS for the services. And I have the services on the home page as we have this blog. And also I have individual pages for the services. The reason is because by the time the company is open to scale their services and add additional thing, they do not have to contact me. They can just go to the CMS and update it. And every other thing we actually follow, the design, everything will actually follow suit. Now, to start creating a CMS, the first thing there is collection templates, but we are not starting with the template. We need to create it from scratch, and subsequently, you can use templates for your individual projects. Now, we need to start with collection settings, which is the collection name. Now, this collection name is not a domain name. It's just like a category name, just like we have blog section, team section, FAQ, and the rest of it. So this collection name will be like the name of the section you are trying to create, or maybe the name of the category of the CMS you are trying to create. So when I mean category here, I'm not talking about maybe, we are creating blog, but this is news and insight. No, I mean like the general name for the section. So that is the collection name, the name of the CMS. Then we have the collection URL. This is usually, for me, I like to leave it blank, except in cases whereby I need to, maybe I'm trying to sort some 301, then that's when I try to maybe let it match some old websites if I want to do it directly from here and not to do it from the settings. But usually I normally leave the collection URL to just be the way it is. Most times I don't touch it. Now we have different collection field. This is actually where the work is. So let me start by filling the collection name. I'm going to call it blog. As you can see, I have blog. Then the collection field. Now, there are different types of fields, but Webflow always comes with this name and slug, and this comes naturally also. Now, this name and slug, this slug, of course, is like the URL. This name and slug is now the name that you want to give. Maybe, okay, let's say for instance, this is my collection name in Webflow, but then I can just say, okay, inside this collection field, I want to have, let me think of something. Let me say, since we are creating blog now, if I give this name, this first one is going to be like blog title, then I can of course give it some help text. Then I need to of course save the field. Usually like slug, I don't edit. Then I come to add new field. Now, this is actually where we need to pay attention. We have different types of input field, just like the same way we have different types of input field for this element in Webflow if you want to add elements. Now we have plain text. So plain text is used for ordinary paragraphs. So when I mean ordinary paragraphs, things like let's say the summary of the blog like we have on the home page, or maybe you want to create, if you're creating a team section and you want to write some maybe a bit of information about them, you can use this plain text for it. Now the next one is rich text. The difference between rich text and plain text is that rich text is more encompassing. You can add images, you can add quotes, you can add, in fact, you can add all the headings from H1, H2 to H6 inside the rich text. You can, like I said, you can add images. So by the time we are creating and we want to create the body of the blog, we are going to use rich text. Now we have images. Some people will want to create a blog post and they will add paragraph, add images, add multiple paragraph images. That's where you can just use rich text and you are just giving your clients one document. So they don't have to edit their blog post by sections. Of course, we get to it in details. Then we have multiple images. So I mentioned that I created a project some time ago where I used CMS for the services. So in a case where we are trying to have like maybe different type of slider images, of course we can use these multiple images where we have different images that we are playing in form of a light box. Then we have a video link. Of course, this can work for either Vimeo, YouTube, or anything. Then we have a link. So video link and link, they are two different things. If you try to put ordinary link in this video link, it will not work. That is because we have this link. Then we have the email, phone number. So the email, phone number, they work as of course as the input field when you want to add email or when you want to add a phone number. Then we have the number for other number. We're also going to get to that. Then we have dates and time. So if you look at our reference, we have published dates. So of course we are going to use something like that for the date and time. Then also we have switch. So this switch can be used for a whole lot of things. I had a session with some team members and I had to explain to them how they can also use this switch for featured projects. They can also use it for maybe something like maybe some trending articles and some kind of selectiveness that they want on their website. Then we have this color. So this, I have used this color before also because I created a design whereby there is like a color behind every image of the team members. Then I use this color and then I used it with this reference to make a selection whereby by the time they are filling input field for all of the CMS item for each of their team member, they can select, oh, I'm filling name for John Doe. What is the background color for John Doe? So that is where this color comes to play. Then of course we have this option which you can use to make option selection. Then we have file for you to upload file. Now, if you notice, reference and multiple reference, they are not active. Irrespective of your plan, you can access them. The reason why they are not active is because they are reliant on the CMS. So you need to have created a CMS that you can then bind it to reference and multiple reference. So what do I mean? So I want to create a blog post that is going to have category. I need to create a different CMS for just the category names. Then I can come here to add my blog post. So before I proceed, I'm supposed to create the category, but let's get it started from here. So we have created the first input field, collection field, which is actually the blog title. Then next one, we're going to select image, which is actually going to be, of course, the blog image. Now, this blog image is different from whatever image you want to have inside the article of your blog. This is usually for the blog header or for the blog thumbnail that you have on the homepage. Like if you see our design, there's actually supposed to be a section for blog. So that is actually what this is used for, and not the blog that you have inside your article. Then the next thing Of course, we have help text. This help text is just for description to help your user know what they need to do. Then, of course, minimum and maximum. Sometimes I set this, but even if you cannot upload a picture that is more than 4 MB, you cannot. If you always tell you the file too large, you need to compress. That is where image compressor comes in. So I'm going to give this blog thumbnail. Then, of course, I can make the field required. Then I save. Then the next input field we want to add, looking at our design, is published date. So I'm going to add the date input. Then add published date. Then I'm going to add another input field. Let me go back to the design, which is going to be, okay, we have the title, we have the date, of course, and we have the image. Now, this is actually what we are seeing in the thumbnail. But if you look at the blog article, you know we need to have the body of the blog. Here, it is wrong for you to actually use plain text. It is always advisable to use rich text because, like I said, the styling is more encompassing. You can add headers, you can add images, you can add quotes, you can style it whatever way you want to style it. And we are going to get into the details. So I'm going to add a rich text and I'll call it blog content. And save. So now we have all our input fields selected. Now there is one more category, one more input collection field I need to add, which is supposed to be the category. But what I need to use for that is reference or multiple reference, and it is not active. So let us make it active. I'll create this collection. Is this my network? Oh, cancel this. Then create. All right, now I have my CMS. Of course, I've created my CMS. Now it is blank. But before we go ahead to fill in our CMS, I want to create the category. So like I said, we need to create a different collection for the categories. That is actually how it works. So I'm actually going to, okay, I need to save this. Then let me go back. So from here again, of course, you click on this new collection. Then I want to call this category. Now you don't need to call it only blog category. You can just call it category. Now we need to have different category. So I would just call it name of the or just category name. But I think name is actually fine. Then I save and create collection. Now let us fill in our category first before we fill in our blog, because we actually need to fill in the category inside our blog. So how many categories I'm going to have? Let me create the first one, which is fashion. As you can see, this log comes with it, and I will explain this as we move forward. That's fashion. Then the other one, I'm actually going to call it sports. So the second blog is going to be, sorry, my system is acting. So let me go back to CMS, back to categories. Okay, new. Then this is going to be sports. Create. I want to add 5. Can somebody give me 2 more suggestions that I can use here?
Maybe fashion. I don't know.
We have fashion, we have sports, we have entertainment.
Food.
Okay, then one more. Let's use politics for the last one. Yeah, politics. All right. Now let's come back to our blog and I'll click settings. So I can either access the setting from this setting icon, or I come to the setting at the top right here, settings. Now I want to add field for reference. As you can see, the reference is active and the multiple reference is active. Now, what is the difference, or what are the differences between reference and multiple reference? You know, there are some times that you would write an article and it will fall under 2 categories. So let's say the article can fall under politics and it can also fall under food. Maybe it's about food insecurity, for instance. So that's way, in cases like that, we use multiple references. Multiple references allows you to make multiple selection when you're filling a category of a blog. And like I said, this actually goes beyond category. Depending on the structure of your website, you can decide what you want to apply it to. But right now, what we are dealing with is blog. While reference, you can only pick one category at a time. So we can take in our explanation, we can put it at the back of our mind that reference acts like a radio input, which you can only make one selection, while multiple reference acts like a checkbox, which you can make multiple selections. So for the purpose of this training, we are going to use multiple reference because we need to be able to make multiple selection. If you know how to use the multiple reference, then of course, using the single reference is very easy. So I'm going to click on multiple reference and I'm going to call it category again. So most times it is the name of the collection that I just, of course, call my reference, the collection I created for the category. So I'm going to call this category also. Category. Then now this is where the selection happens. It says collection. I need to select a collection reference. Then this is it, categories. I click on categories, then I save. Now we have a category here as multiple reference. Now we're done here. We just need to save this collection. Then we need to go back to our blogs. Now we need to, of course, start by adding new blog. So with Webflow, you can automatically generate, of course, some sample items, just like we have Lorem Ipsum. But I'm actually going to do this manually for us. So I'm going to click new. 1 second, guys. All right, I'm going to click new. And we have the blog title, we have slug. Now, I will need you guys to actually do something for me here. I want us to actually work together here. So somebody should give me a title that I can use for the blog title. Just something short, not too long. Any suggestion? Or let me check from our designs. Okay, we have title from our design. So let me just copy title from our designs. Now you can see the slug. Like I said, personally, I like to leave the slug empty. Then the next thing I'm supposed to do is to fill in the image. So I'm actually going to come to, okay, click here and select image from my download folder. Okay, I'd like to use this. Now we have the image selected. Now the published dates, of course, let me just pick a random date, February 14th. Then the blog contents. Now I am actually going to paste a random article and then I will explain the reason why how this rich text functions. You know, I said I want to use rich text here and not paragraph. So let me make a selection. Sorry guys, I'll stop sharing, then share my entire screen so you guys can have an understanding of what I'm saying from this article, because I have a lot of things open on my system. So I want to share my entire screen just for this purpose of this blog. So I'll stop sharing, then share my entire screen.
All right, no problem.
All right. Now I have the Figma file open. If you can see it, please let me know. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
All right. So I got this from the Figma community. So I just want to use this content for us to see how we can, of course, format the content. So I'm actually going to copy it, copy text, then back to Webflow. Then I'll paste. Now we want to style this. If you look at the reference design, so of course this is again the title and this is the date. This is author written by. So we did not add author in ours. I think let's go back to add author before we style. So just to make the design more fun and of course in line with the reference. So I'm actually just going to create this. I'll come back to it. I want to add, so I need to come to my blog settings here and add a new field. And for the field, what I want to do is to add the author's name. So I'm going to use plain text. I'm just going to add author, then I'll save. Then of course, save the collection. So let's go back to the first blog content that we are editing. So we are here. Now we filled the title. Like I said, the slug comes automatically. You can edit it if you wish. Then the image, the published dates, and of course the rich text. Now the rich text is actually very, very powerful. You can add a lot of things. So now the first text here, looking at our design, it is of course just a paragraph. Then if you come to this place where we have section 11033, we need to make it either bold or we need to use a particular style of heading. Now, if I come back to my design, if I come back to Webflow and I make that selection, then as you can see, just by selecting, I already have options for bold, italics, superscript and subscript, link, then heading 1 to 6 and quote. So I can decide to use H1, H2, H3. Now, there's a way we can style the rich text. Also, we're going to get into that if time permits us in this class. So for the purpose of this course, I'm actually just going to use H4 and not H1, 2, 3, just H4 because I just want it to be, of course, small. As you can see from the design reference, it is not that bold. Or, okay, this is supposed to be a bold text, and this is actually supposed to be this section here is supposed to be the header. So let's go back and adjust that. So this is actually supposed to be just a bold text, and then I'll remove the H4, and then this section, then instead of H4A, so let's just use H3. Then of course this section is going to be H3. I think that's all. Now, if you want to add images, if you want to add quotes, if you want to add all sorts of things, how do we go about it? And again, before now, actually, when I was starting out with Webflow, if I want to style this my rich text here, I will just use enter to separate it, which is actually wrong. We'll get into the styling also, and we'll see how we can style it. So now I want to add an image before this 1914. So if you press enter, as you can see, we have a plus icon here. Sometimes this plus sign dances around, so you just have to be very careful to make sure you're seeing the plus icon. Now, if you click on the plus icon, now you have more options. We have image, we have video, we have custom code, elements for code. Then we have this for, as you can see, we have the location icon and the music icon. Then we have these other ones that you can use for bullet points. But what I need here is actually image. So I'll click on image, and of course I'll select image from my download. Now I have inserted this image. I need to style the image. I need to define the position of the image. Is it going to be align left, align center? Now you can actually style the image inside of the designer and not style it inside this CMS, which is actually the best recommendation. Although some people will click on these settings and come to size and start adjusting the size. Okay, I want custom size. You don't have to do all of that. So let's come back to, you don't have to do all of that. Don't style your image. The only thing you can do for your image here is to select the position. Do I want it align center, or I want it to fill the width, which is going to be like justify? Or I want it align left, or I want it to be in line with the text, either to the right or to the left. So for this, I'm actually going to what selection should I make? Sorry. Okay. I don't know what's wrong with my system, but okay, let me just maintain the center for now. For some reason, my system is acting up. So now we have, of course, caption. If you want to add caption to image, so let's say, let me just add image of a sea sheep, All right, image of a sea sheep. Then what else do I want to do? I need to make a section as quotes. So I'm just going to copy this, then use it as quotes, and we get there also quotes. Then of course link. So let me add another link. Let me just make this, David, please permit me. Let me just use, this is the only website that comes to mind. Okay, let me use google.com. Okay, as the link. Now, if you put it like this, it is not enough for the system to read it as link. So you need to select it and of course make it a link. Then you now even have the option to select what type of link you are creating. Is it a normal link, or you want to link this to a page in a document, or you want to link this as email? But of course, we are using it as a normal link, so we're going to retain it as link. Then where do we want the link to go to? So it's still like google.com. So now sometimes, so the reason why we have I'm getting to enter this link twice is because of the user experience. So let me put it this way: if you go to some websites and you see a phone number, it is always great if you're accessing the website from your mobile. When you click on the phone number, it should actually pop up with your dialer and you can call the number straight up. That is a great user experience. So instead of having Google here and then come back, so I can just type let me just type link here. So now link here should mean when they click on it, I'm trying to mask a link now as the href. When they click on this link here, it should take them to a certain link. So that is where the link will come to play. So I do not necessarily have to type the link out inside the article. Just like I said for phone number, sometimes when you click, it is always great for a great mobile experience, especially for mobile, when they click on phone number and they can access. When you start developing, take note of all of those things, which is for email address. There are two options for email. You can also do it in a way that when they click on it, it will copy to their clipboard, or when they click on it, it takes the user straight to their email. So let's come back to link, and this is where I'll put google.com. Then, of course, I'll save. Then what other elements do you want us to add here? Okay, we can always come back to edit it because we still have more to create. So now I'm actually just going to select everything here, Ctrl+C to copy and save. But I'll make sure I alternate the image in the article. So I'll save this. Oh, we still have one more input field to select, which is the author. So I need to fill the author's name, which is John Doe. And now the category. Oh, I almost missed this. Now, if you look at this category now, I can select food and I can select politics. This is because we are using multiple reference. I told it functions like a checkbox where you can make multiple selection. So I'm using these two input field and I'll create. So now I need to, okay, I've created this. Then I need to create more. So I'm just going to fast paste everything. The dates, I'm going to use maybe a random date, then paste the blog content that I copied again. Now I need to change the image. So I need to, of course, backspace the, I need to just backspace to remove the image. Then, of course, we have my plus sign here, image. Then let me just use this other image. Then selling both as my copy, as my my caption for the image. Okay. Then what else? Okay, we already have the link more. Then this new link, I want you to go to Facebook this time around and not Google as a reference. Then we have category. So here I'm going to use food. Then author, I'm just going to use David Webflow. All right. Okay, the image here is missing and I made it compulsory. So I need to add the image here. Then what else? The title, I need to copy the title from my, okay, I need to copy the title from here. Copy text. Oh, we actually have July 7th and July 3rd as the date, but of course, this is a practice, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, I have this done. Then what else am I missing? The dates is done, the article is done. Okay, now I can create. So let me create one more so we can match our design. And this one, I'm also going to give it 2 categories so we can have it in our mind that we have made the selection for the 5 categories. Now, if you notice, I did not add button for read more. That is because here we have read, here we have read, here we have read. So I don't have to repeat it. The only thing I am changing is because the contents are dynamic. Now, if you have an element that is repetitive in terms of position, content, or style, you may not want to add it, something like this button. And when I go into the individual pages, or when we are building this out in our document, I will explain. You don't have to add it. So I've copied the text back to Webflow. Okay, then I'm actually going to use, okay, I only have 2 images in my download. Then dates, so now I think I want to use July. So I'm using July 7th. Then the article. Oh, I need to copy the content again. So now this time around, we're going to have like a change of style in the content. So let me copy this as text. Paste. Then we need to add image. So let me add the image here this time around. Now you may be pushed to maybe edit. Now, okay, now this is functioning now. As you can see, this is working well. My system was hanging the first time, so I couldn't make the option. As you can see, it will wrap around the text. We have this option too. We have this. Then of course we have the footnotes. All right, somebody wants to say something. Oh, admit. Oh, okay. Then what else? The caption. Let me just say floating island. Then section. Okay, I want to make this section actually my H3 this time around. Then here I also want to make this my H3. Then I want to break this into 2 and make this my entire quote. My entire quote, and this also my H3 section. All right. Then we need to make category. So which category are we missing out? I think entertainment and sports. I think we've done fashion, food, and politics. I hope I'm right. So I'm just going to use my name, Michael, Webflow. All right, then create. All right, now we have 3 articles created. So now let's go back to our designer. Nothing is happening here, as you can see. Nothing is happening here. I don't have the project yet. But if you come to your pages, you will notice now we have categories templates and now we have blogs templates. So this blogs template is going to be the individual page of the blog. For instance, if I click on blogs template, for instance, now you look at the top left where I have the Webflow logo, blog template. Now these are the pages. As you can see, they are still empty because I'm here to add anything to the designer, but these are the topics I created just now. A beginner's guide, amplify your podcast, then the last one, which is enhancing your audio experience. So we are not coming here yet. So let's go back to the main page, which is the home page, and let's build out the section. So of course, same thing that we usually do, which is going to be section _ teamwork. Okay, somebody made a suggestion that if it is possible to build out the teamwork before we actually proceed. Okay, maybe we'll actually take that from the next class. But let me just, of course, focus on this block. So I'm actually going to build these 3 cards and this section we have at the top here. So right now, I'll try as much as possible to pay attention to the consistent styling that we've been doing, because right now my head is just thinking functionality and how I want to make things work. But then I'll try as much as possible to stay true to the training in terms of FinSuite naming system. So we have our section selected in Webflow. So the next thing I want to do is to add padding global. Sorry, a div block that I will name padding global. A div block that I'll name padding global. Okay, now I'm creating this inside this teamwork. So let me just duplicate this, then give it, I'm going to duplicate this class. I'm going to call it section _ blog. I really hope this is clear. Then, okay, we have padding global. Now, for me, I still like to go with the FinSuite old style because I don't like to have, I mean, want to change something to this padding global and add this padding section large, but I don't think I'll do any change here. So let's just add it. We have padding section large. And then we need to have our container large. Then, of course, the blog component. This last one is going to be blog _ component. All right. Now we have two categories in our blog. As you can see, we have this header and then we have these three cards. Then we may just be too, okay, we don't need to add the read more. We have these three cards. Okay, check our blog. Okay, the button is there already. So we are going to add to the blog. One is for the blog title. So the blog title is going to cover all of this, and this is going to be for the blog card. Now, let me create a div blog, which is going to be for the blog title. Then I need to add another div block. Yes, so the reason why I'm adding a div in another div block is because I want a div block to hold these two together. Then I want, of course, the button to be on the right hand side of the designer. So I'm going to add a div block, which is going to be blog title wrapper. Then I'm going to add my, I think H2 or 3. Let's confirm the size. Yeah, H2. Yes, H2. Then I'm going to copy the text. All right, then I need to add a paragraph. So window E is what I'm using as paragraph. Then I need to copy this line. As text. All right, we have these two inside a div block. Then you can either create a div block to house the button, or you can just add the button straight up. But let me scroll up. Let's see if we've created the button anywhere. Okay, we haven't. Let me go and check our star guard. So I can just copy it from there, because I will not use the regular button for this because of icon. So looking at ThinkSwift naming system, we already have the button icon. So because I'm using it here for the first time, I need to go and copy the icon from the image. So let's scroll to the bottom where we have our button. Oh, okay. So we have not used this button. It's secondary anyway. Okay, this is still a button. Okay, this is button is icon. Okay, so let me just change the styling to be this. Okay, so let's copy. So this is button texts. Okay, why are we having this? Is it because of my screen size? Okay, we're having this because of my screen size. Okay, the stacking. So I need to change the color back to our design. Okay. So I can copy this as SVG. Okay, but like I said, this is not a paid plan. So let me look at the icon we have here. So I'm actually going to retain this icon so we can speed up to the CMS part, because I really want us to complete the CMS part. So I'm just going to copy this. Now I am not using this here. So let me start this first. So we need to remove all the styling that we have here. Thank God this is button icon. So we need to change the background color now to be white. So it's going to be a solid color now. It's going to be white, 100%. Then we have stroke. What's the line? So we have a few for our stroke. So I've copied the color. Then the icon. The icon, is it pure black in the design? Let's check. Okay, it's gray. Okay. Then I need to give this icon a color. Now, these new variables can be confusing at times, but of course, I'm just going to unlink instance and paste the color code. Then the text. Now, if I give this a color, it's going to create a class. And even the icon, it is possible that I don't get to do this from here. So let me click on the entire button and then change the color of the text here. Unlink. and paste. Now, the benefit of always using this embed, why I like it for button, is because for icon, as you can see, I can easily change the color of the icon the same way I'm changing the color of the text, rather than placing an image. Because there are some animation you would want to do, maybe when they over on it, the color will change. If you use an image, you have to actually put it inside a D block, and you use things like maybe hide and show or opacity to actually create such interaction. But if you're using things like this, you can always come to change the color when you are doing interaction. So we have our button set. I'm just going to copy the button. Yes, so I'm just going to copy this button, then back to our designer on the home page. So we created a div to house this too. Then we're going to create it inside this div that is housing this, then make it a flex box, and of course justify. Now we have our button. Is it my system, but that this button is too big? So now let's close it up. So because we are using the button for the first time, I think any style we change here is actually going to reflect on everything. So I'm going to make this 0.5. Now, if you type 0.5, if I press enter, it is going to change only for the padding top. But there's this shortcut I usually use. If you press Command Alt or Control Alt, it's going to change for the two either vertical or the diagonal part. So this is what I mean. This 0.5 frame or 0.5 frame, if I press Control Alt Enter or Command Alt Enter, see, it's going to change for these two. But if I use Shift Command Alt or Shift Control Alt and I press Enter, it's going to change for all the 4 edges. So I usually use this shortcut to just get ahead of my padding size or margin size in Webflow. So we've done this to be 0.5, then this is actually 5.5 rem. This is too much. So I'm going to leave this as 1.5 rem. Good. I think now we have a reasonable button. So let's come here and copy our text. Oh, the text here is actually black, and the text on the icon is having a different color. Good. Good. So I'm going to give this icon its own color. Then I'm going to give this entire button a black color of text. As you can see, it is now affecting the icon because I've given this icon its own color. Right, now let's create our CMS. So if you look at this, my navigator, I have the section _blog, padding global, container large. We have the blog components, I have the blog title. So I'm actually going to close this, which is the blog title. Now I need to add in a CMS item before I start styling. Now, unlike the other ones that we've been creating, that I will just create a D block and start creating. No, I need to actually start with a CMS item. So I'm actually going to press my Command E and type, of course, collection list and drop. Now, the first thing you need to do when you are creating, sometimes it might not be the first, but one of the key things that you need to do before you can even get started with making your collection list work is to bind it. And binding means, as you can see, this collection is empty. If I even try to do anything inside, sorry, if I try to maybe put anything inside it, it will not work. It will tell me I need to actually bind it first. So how do we bind? If you click on setting, then you need to select the source. I need to bind this to the blogs. That is it. We are through with the binding. Now, as you can see, we have different topics selected here. Now, if you are creating a blog or maybe a theme section and you are creating, and I did mean I created like maybe 5-10 blog items. We're actually going to see all the 10 here. Now, if you look at the designer, we only have 3 items. So there's a page where there's a setting where we can where we can filter out the appearance, and we can limit the items we want to see and how we want it to start. Another thing that we need to do that we have not done, or we can actually skip it because we've already included dates, is the order number. And what order number used for is used to actually sort, but we don't need that here because we already have dates published. So we are going to sort this article by the published date. So now I've done the binding. Now look at the setting of this collection. Automatically in Webflow, there is nothing you can do to break this. We have the list, we have the list wrapper, and we have we have the list wrapper, the list, and the item. So I'm actually going to give them a class name. So I know what I'm doing. So I'm actually going to call this blog wrapper. Then I'm going to call this blog list. And I'm going to call this blog item. Now, another thing to take note of is that inside Webflow, there are some cards that you will see on the website that maybe when you click on the entire card, it actually takes you to another page or it gives you the next step. But automatically in Webflow, you can't use this blog item as a link element. So because we already have a read more in our designer, I don't need the link, but I'm just using it to explain. And I will actually, by the time I'm done styling all of this, I'll go into details. So we have this read button. So I don't need to create a link element again. But I'm just telling you, in case where you want to have a card that is going to function as a link, you need to actually use that as the overall parent. But right now, I'm going to use this blog item as the overall parent. And the first thing I need to do is to actually add my title. Now, looking at the design, this title can be let's see. So this is supposed to be H2, H2, H2. Okay, I'm actually going to give it H3. Yes, I'm actually going to give it H3. So let's go back here. Then I'm going to add an H3 element. Now, this is the reason why we call CMS, Webflow CMS, a dynamic function. As you can see, we have heading. Now, anything you add inside one of the card, it will appear the amount of times that you have a collection item. That is why I said for this read button, I do not have to repeat it because it is the same read, it is the same styling, it is the same shape, the same color and everything. So by the time I get to this section and I just add this button, it can serve as read. But now what we need is the topic, which is actually very dynamic. What we need is topic, which is very dynamic. Then how do we do that? I need to, of course, bind this also. Then if you click on this text and you select this plus, now these are the items inside our collection. Let me move this to the top. If you click here, these are the items inside our collection that we created, which is the blog title, author, published dates. What we need here is actually published. No, sorry. What we need is the title, which is the blog title. Now we have our dynamic title. The next thing we need to do is to add the image. Now, don't forget, this blog item is actually serving as the wrapper for this item. I can decide to actually create another div block inside and just call it blog card. And then move this H3 inside it. Like there's no limits to the amount of div block you can create when designing. Just the same way there's no limits to the amount of combo class. But the reasonable you use, of course, the better it is for you when you hand over the projects to your client. Then another thing I want to add is the image. Now, as you can see, the icon is actually going to appear 3 times also. Then I need to click on image. And then I need to, of course, bind it to, now we only have one image item in this document, in this CMS rather. So I'm going to click blog thumbnail. Blog thumbnail. Okay, what's happening? Guys, please permit me to refresh. But before I refresh, let me just adjust the styling a bit. Now I want to make this flex before I refresh and just to make sure this image is loading. Okay, it's coming up. Sorry, just pardon my network. Now, I want to style this to make sure it is horizontal like we have in our design. As you can see, these are the images. Sorry, the images, of course, took a bit of time to load. Now, if you click on this blog wrapper, it is not going to change any styling. What is actually going to affect your styling is the blog list. So if I click on this blog list and I come to my settings here and I change it to flex horizontal, as you can see, the only thing I did here is just to put this as horizontal. It was here before as block, then I changed it to, of course, flex. Then my direction is horizontal. Now we need to check our design and make sure everything is matching. Looking at this design, we have the image first, we have the padding before we have the text. So that means on my card, I'm trying to see the padding that we have here. Okay, spacing medium. Okay, 18 pixel. That's the padding. All right, so on the blog card, now I'm actually going to apply the padding here. So 18 pixel, that's 1.25 rem. So of course, I'm going to use my Shift Command Alt Enter or Shift Command Control Alt Enter. Sorry, this is supposed to be rem, not pixel. Then as you can see, we have it on all sides. So I'm only styling one item, but it is reflecting on all the other items. That is the power of CMS. And same way, when we get to the inner page of the blog, we don't have to like style individual elements. If you're creating like, let's say, a property list, and you know that, okay, you are using the CMS for this because the contents are changing, which means they are dynamic, but the styling is the same thing. You don't have to style 10, you don't have to style 20, just style one. And you don't even have to specify that, oh, I must style the first one. I can move my cursor here and start styling this element. It is going to reflect on every other thing. Another thing I want to do, let's go back to our design. Okay, is to make sure this image is having a specific height, as you can see here. So what is the height of our card? 180 pixel. So I'm going to click on the image and give it blog thumbnail as a class. Then the height is going to be 18 pixel. Now it is important, sorry, 180 or 128, let me confirm. 160, my site, sorry, 160 pixel. That is what I have for the height. Now, look at my height, it is well proportioned, but look at the width, it is still not giving me the dimension I want. So that means the width needs to be 100%. Now, if you look at the blog card again, this image is larger than the other. In this case, another thing you can actually do here to just make your work easy, maybe for me, sometimes I can just come to this direction here and just use grid and delete this bottom column, row and create an extra column. And that way, everything is actually, of course, the same size. Now, the reason why this one is at the bottom is because, as you can see, the title of the article is breaking. So that means we need to drag our image to the top, as seen in the design. Then we can have the article at the bottom. Then we need to do some further styling, like rounded corners. And also we need to add the button and the dates. So let's add the dates before we proceed. Now I'm going to add a paragraph. You can either add a paragraph or a text element for that. Then I need to bind it to published dates. Good. As you can see, we have our dates there also. So let's look at the layouts. Okay, the article, title, and dates. Now let's style it. Okay, before we style it, let's add the button. Is it the arrow button? Yes. So I can just copy this button here and paste it inside my card and change this title to read. Now, every other thing that I pick from the CMS, they are dynamic, but this read is going to stay static because, of course, I want everything to be read. Now, because this is a button, this is actually one of the reasons why CMS is powerful. I need to, of course, bind it also, which is part of the functionality. I want you to go to each CMS item, meaning when I click on this button, I want you to show me this article. When I click on this button, I want you to show me this article. When I click on this button, I want you to show me this article. Don't forget that the text is the same thing, but we can actually control the functionality. And we don't even have to do it 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times. We only need to do it once. So if you click on this setting, we can bind it to a page, to a section, email, or phone. But what we need here is this, we want to bind it to a collection page. Now, which collection page? Because we have a lot of collection, we have the category, but because we have already binded this entire collection to blog. So it's going to give me suggestion from the blog. And as you can see, I want to bind it to this current blog. So meaning, if I click on this current blog, by the time you click on this, so I've done the binding. By the time you click on this button, when you publish, it is going to take you to this article. Then this is going to take you to this article. Now, another thing that you can know if an element is a CMS item in Webflow, it will have this purple color. Notice before, okay, let me unlink this. Look at the button here in my navigator. Can you see the color? The button is underneath the paragraph. the color is just button. But if I click on it here and I click on this collection page and I want to bind this to the current blog, the color will change to purple. So always take notes when you get on a project and you see purple, just know that this is a collection items. Now, what are the things that you can actually use CMS for? Right now, we are using this for blog, but always use CMS for things that you want your clients to edit and you don't want them to have a headache, or maybe you don't want them to actually bug you. Because when you build a website for clients, even when sometimes the contract expires, you probably just owe them some kind of attention to, of course, attend to their needs. Do you get? Then you can then, of course, give them invoice, or this is actually how much it will cost you to do certain things. But most times, it is always good for you to make the job easier for yourself so you can move on with other clients. So you can use it for team members. You can use it for, I've used this for service. I've used it for FAQ. In fact, okay, let's say this section, for instance, where we have this explore amazing features, you can actually use CMS for it, because maybe you know that, maybe let's say you're building for a fintech app, for instance, and you know that there is a very possibility that they are going to add in another feature in the coming days. Now, all these things, sometimes they call it common sense. Sometimes it is while you're discussing with your clients that you understand their user journey and all of those things. So you understand their future plans for the website. You know, as a UX designer, you need to understand where they are at the moment, why they are bringing you on these projects, and where they want to be. So you need to understand all of this journey to know what items am I going to use CMS for and what items am I going to use static elements for. So this section like this, I can decide to actually use the CMS for it, because I know if my client should add a new feature in the nearest future, they don't have to call upon me to just make that edit. They can do it by themselves. Then, okay, I think that even this logo scroll, you can make it a CMS item also. There's a way you can make a slider scroll in Webflow, so you can, of course, add that animation as well. So there is literally no limit to what you can do to that. So let's round up this styling so we can move to the individual page. I really hope we can do that today. So now the blog card is having a line of 1 pixel. Then, of course, this spacing here. Now, there is something I want to show you also, which is really, really great, and it is important I do. So I'm going to click on the blog card, and I'm going to give it a pixel of 1, and I'm going to give it the color. Good. Now, I need to, looking at this design, these 3 items here, they are a family, and this one is not a family. So that means I need to put these 3 items in a div block, because if I just put in my gap or spacing, it's going to affect. So I need to put these 3 items in the div block. You know, the closer items are to each other, you can tell they are group items or they are family items. So these ones, of course, they are group. I can either call them group or family items. So I'm going to create a div block inside the card, or I can just wrap my thumbnail with a div block, and I'm going to call it blog thumbnail content. Then I'm going to drag my heading inside it also, and I'm going to add my paragraph. Then if I click on my blog card, I can make it a flex item, then this time around vertical, and then give it a gap of, now we need to be very, very calculative here. Looking at this design, the space here is not the same thing as the space we have here. Now, how do we go about that? So this is actually one of the tricky things that you just need to pay attention to. But now I'm going to actually give it like, let's say 3 rem at my gap. But then, as you can see, they are not equal, but I need to make them equal. So it is not by you to, so there are actually several ways that you can do this. And one of the ways is that you can give this your blog card a specific height. So when you give it a specific height, then the content, you make the content to justify space in between in the vertical way. Or another thing that you can do, the reason why it is not always good to give it a specific height is because sometimes your client might create a blog title that will have maybe 6 lines. Now, by the time you give this a specific height and you already have a 6-line paragraph, there will be no space for the text and the button. So everything will actually, of course, will be compressing each other, which is not great. So that way, we need to create something that is called auto to this button. So I'm actually going to put the button in a div block because I want to style it, and I don't want to style button icon because I might have the button icon several places on the website. So two ways: I can either add a combo class or just put it in a div block and style the div block. So I'm going to put it in a div block, and of course, style it blog button or blog thumbnail button. Yes, blog thumbnail button. Then I need to add margin of auto. Now nothing is happening yet. The reason why anything is not going to happen is because I've done this trial several times and I realized it doesn't work on grid. It only works on flexbox. And now if I make this work a flexbox, I need to set certain widths to the item. Because if you remember the other time that I just made it a flexbox, see, they are not the same item. But right now, even though they are not the same size by width, but look at the button is already responding, the space. So even if my client is going to have an article that is going to be 13 lines article, it's going to stretch and justify the button. But what I now need to do is I need to give the block card a specific width just to make sure everything is the same thing. So I can just give it maybe 30%. Sorry, not the block card now, the block item, sorry. Because that's what is inside the list that is being controlled. So I'm going to give this 30%, or let's hit the 3%. And of course, yeah, this is great. Now look at the button. Is the button at the bottom yet? Let me preview. Yes, it is. Is it? Sorry, my sides. Okay, not yet. So what is going on here? So it was before. Yes. It's just in here. But then I need to set my width. So another thing I can do is to come and set the width of the image. So I can just give this, let's check our design and just work with what we have in our design. This is going to be 312 pixel. So I'm going to give this a width of 312 pixel. Then of course change it to rem. That is the width of my blog image. Good. Now I need to make it cover. Okay, something is still missing in the styling here. Okay, sorry. I do not have to just change the image. I need to change the size of this card. As you can see. And here we already have 3 cards. So it's this card that actually needs to be the size and not the image. So let me just click on my card here and make it. Then the image is going to be 100% width. Good. Then I need to, of course, stretch this and centralize it. Let me look at the design again. Okay, this is actually going to the edge. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right, so I need to give this my blog card. Let me give it not 30%, 100%, and then okay, so yeah, now this is actually where the work lies. Okay, I need to adjust my spacing. So this can be tricky, but it is important for me to actually get things right because I want to show you this button margin auto. Let's preview it. Okay, the dimensions are not the same thing. Then let me click on this blog item and just give it. Now let me publish because sometimes it is not enough to actually preview what you're doing in the designer view. It is always great to publish and see what the outcome is. Okay, we are not there yet. So we have everything set except the button. So, and again, okay, I need to create a division here. So let me just go ahead and do these two things. So let's say, okay, we have this sorted as well. Sorry about what is going on. Let me create this spacing first. So sometimes this thing can be tricky. But remember, this will not work. This effect here will not work on grid. If I return this back to, sorry, if I return this block list back to grid, which I think I'll do tentatively, and I preview, as you can see, we are experiencing this. So I need to come back to get this fixed, but then let me just paste this and let me entertain any question before I proceed. I'll actually come back to address this, but let me entertain any question that anybody might have. So any question so far? So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to create space between the blog title and the blog wrapper. So I'm just going to give it 2 rem. Then I'll come back to treat this, so we can actually pick the next class. I think David said we're going to meet on Wednesday. So we're actually going to pick it from here on Wednesday, and we're going to build these top sections. But right now, let me entertain every question anybody might have. Any question? Thank you, Femi. It's always like everything is clear when I take a class, like nobody asks questions.
Michael.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks once again. It just shows your in-depth knowledge of technicalities. You do it as if you are eating.
You're welcome.
Well done, thank you. I think I'll have to review the video more than once to get the bits right, but thank you very much.
You're welcome. And you can just send me a message if you need any help getting.
Yeah, I was about saying the same thing, that I will need to watch the video, and maybe as I'm practicing it, definitely questions will come up. So that's why.
All right.
Thank you for the good work.
You're welcome.
Cynthia, if you have any question, ask. Akin, this is the best time
I
to
actually didn't want to ask a question. I wanted to say I was following, but at the point it felt like my brain is thinking too much. I have to like watch the video again. But like he really took the explain very well. It seemed not very difficult. Something that if you just know it to be easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the best of the best. That's why he's here, funny enough.
My God.
But the why me, I beg. You don't hear, let me just mean it, so there's no need. So yeah. Okay, you can go ahead, Shabi. If you don't finish, let's.
Yeah, so I think I would like us to actually stop there. Then David might, of course, entertain any question pertaining to other things. Of course, I've gotten so deep. There's a lot that we can actually cover here, because we're still going to talk about how we can sort, how we can filter, and there is something called fin suite attributes, how we can use it to actually set a lot of dynamism in the website. But without fin suite attributes, there are other alternatives I figured out that I think I showed somebody who was using a Webflow pre-plan, which I'm actually going to talk about, but that will be on the next time that we're going to go in depth on the Webflow. That'll be on the next class. Yeah, David, so I'm handing off. I'm through from here, so you can take on the call from here.
Nice one. Well done, Michael. Thank you very, very much. Okay, everyone. So you guys have heard from the horse's mouth. How do they speak that English? Okay, cool. So today is Friday. So what I'm going to do, if you guys will be available on Wednesday, I'll bring in guys from the previous mentorship program. I have 2 people that would come and build out the other section before this blog section, right? That's the one at the top. so that we can see their own process, so that we can see, because I like to get other people involved in things like this, because that's how you learn. You learn from seeing people do things, that's how you learn basically. Even you know even if we want to go, in the biblical way, is this thing that happens when you always renew your mind, constant renewal. And you can't just renew your mind by hearing something once. You have to always hear it, always hear it. That is how you grow in strength, in faith, and all of that. So it's a constant renewal. You would think, oh, it's something that you know once. No, it doesn't work like that. For it to stick permanently, you have to constantly renew your mind. You have to hey, I mean, we are all men and women of God, so no reason now, we are all men and women of God. So yeah, that's it. It's a principle and it's a law. It works every time. So it is one thing I like to do. I like to do my parts, and I also like to. I don't mind teaching one thing over and over again. Just I need to make sure that it sticks 100%. It's like, if you take flights often, if you take flights often, you always see, they will always make announcements. You know how they would always do that, what's it called? They'll always read out their instructions and guide. If you take flight 50 times, they will read out to you 50 times. If you like, may you feel recital with them. They don't care. It's just something they do. It's a must. You must understand that, this is how we operate. In case of anything, this is what you should do. At times, if you will be the one reciting it with them, you so get used to it. You just also be reciting the flight instruction with them. But it is what it is. So yeah, by Wednesday, if you guys will be available, we would have two persons be on the call with us, so that we can also see their own process and also learn. Because for every time you watch these things or you are in class, you learn something new. You will learn something new. Be like, okay, so you can also do it this approach until you get used to it. For me right now, I am even. Should I say bored? Even though there's a lot you can still do Webflow, which I don't even know. There's a whole lot you can do. But right now, I feel I've known it to a point where nothing interests me anymore. Like, trust me, I'm looking for something else to scratch my hands on. That's the funny truth. I'm at the point now where it doesn't interest me anymore. It's just I don't see I'm finished. I don't see I'm finished. Even though other exciting there are other exciting things to do with it, but I just feel if I just I've learned the core principle, I've learned the foundation. So whatever it is that can be done, once I just watch a video or just hear about it and browse about it, it just enter my head once. So I'm looking at exploring something entirely new, something entirely different. That's the point I'm at right now. So yeah, I want us to also get to that point. And it didn't just happen overnight. I was just, on it day and night. You guys are even taking 1 week to build out one section, but me, the way I was following it up, maybe it was because I didn't have a job, maybe because I was jobless, so I had all the time in the world to just be learning. So that is why I don't really put pressure on you guys, because maybe you guys have a job, something you are doing on the side, maybe you have kids and all of that. So I can't really say, hey, you have to learn this thing now. So I'll always say, go at your pace. Because right now that I'm trying to learn something new, I know how hard it is. Trust me, I know how very hard it is. I need to be extra disciplined to follow up. Sometimes I'm not even doing anything, but I don't just feel excited to watch anything. I just want to be. And that's that mood can be inside of me for weeks or for days. I won't just feel excited to do anything. It's not as if I want to give up or something, but it's just, consistency doesn't mean you'll be doing it every day. It just means, you go, you take a pause, you go again, take a pause, just like that. That take a pause can be for a week, for a month, but the goal is, that you're going to achieve this thing at the end of the day. So I try to not, so you say that's why I try to like empathize. I understand where you guys are coming from. When I just say, okay, share your work, and you are still at this part, it's okay. It's very okay. As long as you are putting in little time, little effort, it's still fine. Like, it's very, very commendable. So yeah, Michael, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time and your efforts and your pattern and your style. For me to hearing you teach, I also learn a thing or two. I also learn,
Now that I know.
yeah, I also learn ways, how, okay, I'm like, okay, great. I can also implement this style in my own way of, teaching. I mean, that's what life is all about. We learn from each other. There's nobody knows it all at all. Like I say, I can't even tell you I know it all in Webflow. There are some things I still call Michael about. Hey, how far more? CEO, how did they take do this thing? That is just what life is for me. You cannot learn something finish. It's not possible. There's no that's why I don't like the idea of experts. This experts, Webflow experts. Experts, you're just deceiving yourself. There's sure something you don't know. You can only be an expert if you are the one that created that thing. So yeah, you guys, thank you again, everyone. Okay, Femi, let's hear you.
Thanks, Dave. Just a suggestion, Dave, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Next Wednesday, please, would it be possible to just let Ekene and Yomi have the stage? I don't want us to rush the blog section of Michael. Because based on everything he's told us, he still has to teach us.
No. It's just them. It's just them.
And hopefully they come with all the tools of the animations to help take it all in.
All right, great. That's really great. After now, I would sync up with them so that they should create space for Wednesday evening, as usual, same time. So yeah, it's just them. No, they cannot teach them. Michael come again, and no, it's not possible. It's not possible. Maybe Michael will be on Friday again, next week Friday or Saturday again. He will just continue from where he stops. So yeah, you guys should just create space for Wednesday, and yeah, I'll make it possible. I'll make it possible. So yeah, we've come to the end of today's session. I would put up the video on YouTube and forward the link as usual by tomorrow, so you guys can have it for yourself Monday, Tuesday. Before Wednesday, you guys will be up to date for what they will have to bring.